Up to 70% of women with a previous C-section develop some form of isthmocele, but many go undiagnosed. The symptoms can be subtle or completely silent. Things like abnormal uterine bleeding, spotting between periods, pelvic pain, and yes, difficulty conceiving again. Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany, where high performance health meets non-toxic living. I'm Brittany Ford, a holistic nutritionist, bringing you science-backed strategies in biohacking, longevity, and holistic wellness. Whether you're navigating fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, or simply striving for optimal well-being, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome back to Biohacking with Brittany. Thank you for tuning in to today's Q&A Ask Me Anything episode. This is a really fun way that I get to connect with my audience on a deeper level, where we get to just kind of go and chat about things that are coming up in your personal life. And sometimes people give me super personal questions about things that are very specific with their health. And sometimes the questions are a bit more general. And so it's quite a nice variety that tends to come through. And today's episode is very much like that, a very general question, but also something very personal and more sensitive as well that we are going to talk about. Before I dive in, a shout out to Leela Quantum Tech, who came out with female EMF blocking underwear. Yeah, it literally blocks the radiation around you, 5G, Wi-Fi, 4G, everything like that. And I've actually brought it with me on my trip to Texas and Nicaragua because I'm going to be in planes and I'm going to be surrounded by EMF when I'm traveling in these airports. And it's important for me to actually be aware of how this might impact my ovaries and reproductive function. This is part of biohacking. This is part of fertility optimization, and not even just fertility, but like ovarian hormonal optimization. So if you are a woman and you are really focused on this, which so many of you are, these are a staple in your closet. Go to Leela Quantum Tech, linked in my show notes, and on my website and on Instagram, everywhere I'm at, and use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY to save 10% on all of their products. And a shout out to Calroy. Calroy Health Sciences creates really amazing, world-class, honestly, supplements for the cardiovascular system. And I know so many of you are obsessed and love this. This is something really cool and something that I think we should be focusing more on, as this is one of the biggest health concerns we are facing as a society today is cardiovascular issues and problems and everything associated with that. And there's actually a lot that we can do besides lifestyle and nutrition and biohacking. There are specific supplements that actually do help with this. So if you're somebody who is worried about your heart health, your blood pressure, and you're thinking, hey, I really want to optimize my cardiovascular health, Calroy Health Sciences has the best stack for you. I have my dad on this. I actually just got my mom on it as well. I know a few of you are also using it yourselves or buying it for loved ones where this is a big concern. So check them out, look into it, and know that there's always answers. You can really take a holistic approach to something like this for healing. Check them out. They are in my show notes on my website and linked everywhere. And I hope you give them a go. All right. Without further ado, let's dive into the first question. Now, this question actually came from somebody who was visiting my house, and we were sitting in my sauna. I have a sauna. I'm so proud of it. It's an outdoor sauna, and it uses traditional heat. It has you can pour water onto the hot stones so you can get the steam as well. And it's honestly amazing. I love infrared saunas, and I know there can be better health benefits for it depending on what research you're looking at. However, for me, I really, really like the high temperatures that come from a traditional sauna, and I like the sweat that comes from that. And speaking of sweating, this person was sitting in the sauna with me, and she was like, I seriously just don't sweat when I'm in the sauna. I'm in here for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm sitting there drenched, and she isn't. And she's like, why? Why is this happening? Why am I not sweating more? I kind of thought I would. So let's dig into this because I get this question a lot. And I've talked actually to other people in public saunas and steam rooms about this very topic. So first of all, why do we sweat? Sweating is your body's natural cooling system. It also plays a role in detoxification, especially for fat-soluble toxins, heavy metals, and persistent organic pollutants known as POPs. But what many people don't actually realize is that sweating is a skill. It's something your body has to relearn and optimize over time. So let me actually repeat this. Sweating is not just a response, it's a reflection of your metabolic, lymphatic, and detox health. So the science behind why you actually might not be sweating has multiple reasons to it. It's not a quick answer here. So first of all, you may be in a sympathetic dominant state, and that's not great. If your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight mode, this is also known as the sympathetic dominance. Your body deprioritizes sweating. It's too busy pumping cortisol, tightening blood vessels, and redirecting energy to perceived threats. You can't detox when your body thinks it's in danger. Alternatively, you actually want to be in the parasympathetic mode. And one of the biggest reasons I actually got a sauna and I love to sauna is because it is one of the only ways that we can actually sweat and detox in a parasympathetic mode. So instead of going for a run, hopping on the Peloton, lifting weights, all of that type of thing, which is more of the sympathetic state, in the sauna, we are relaxed, calmer, or we should be, yet we are able to sweat and burn calories, burn energy, detox, and really benefit from it. And so it's amazing in that way. Another reason why you might not be sweating is your sweat glands might be underactive. So we have between 2 to 4 million sweat glands, and their activity varies from person to person. Some people naturally sweat less, but research shows that regular sauna use can increase sweat production over time. And this is a process called heat acclimation. According to a 2019 study published in Temperature, individuals who engage in sauna sessions 4 times a week saw an increase in sweat volume and a faster onset of sweating within just 2 weeks. So if you're new to it, your body is likely still adapting. And I think this is true. So for me, I sauna 3 to 4 times a week, and I definitely have seen this. I sweat more, but also my ability to withstand high temperatures for longer is more. And when I take a significant break from using a sauna, when I go into one, like after I was pregnant, and then I went into one for the first few times, it was like, whoa, 15 minutes, get me out of here. And now I can sit in a sauna at a high temperature for 30 minutes on the top row. So there is that heat acclimation that definitely happens there, and I've witnessed it multiple times. The third reason is dehydration or electrolyte imbalance. And I think this is the first one that kind of comes to mind when you're thinking about somebody sitting in a sauna who might not be sweating. If you're chronically dehydrated or low in key minerals like sodium, magnesium, potassium, or chloride, your body might limit sweat production to conserve fluid. Ironically, many people who aren't sweating in the sauna are already dehydrated before they step in. And so a pro tip here is to add electrolytes to your water before, during, and after your sauna session. Next up, we have a low thyroid or metabolic rate. Hypothyroidism or a sluggish metabolism can lower your core temperature and reduce your body's ability to sweat. Your basal body temp might be so low that your body doesn't think it needs to cool down. This is where temperature tracking can come in handy. You could do oral, underarm, or vaginal. So these are some reasons. And it was interesting because of this person that I'm talking about is older, she's retired, and immediately I said it was dehydration and potentially electrolyte imbalance. We want to have about a liter of water for every hour that we exercise. And so if you're going into a sauna for 30 minutes, you want to have at least 500 mils of water. But I have way more than that. I drink before, during, and after. And I was encouraging her to do the same and to increase her electrolytes as well. There's multiple brands you can use for that. Take a look at it. But I do think the tracking your body temperature is very interesting for this. So I check my body temperature every morning when I wake up. And I do this to track my menstrual cycle to know when I'm ovulating and when my period is supposed to come. And I use this as a form of birth control. And I've done this for, 8 years, maybe, something like that. Very effective if you do it correctly. And this might be something I'm going to actually ask her to do because it would be interesting to take a look and see how is her thyroid and how is her metabolism working. So for an infrared versus a traditional sauna, does it actually matter when we're talking about heat and sweat? And yeah, it does. I kind of alluded to this. So traditional saunas use high heat, around 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I love this. I set mine to 194. The maximum I've seen it hit is 197. And this heats the air and then your skin, triggering sweat more quickly. Infrared saunas, on the other hand, use light to penetrate the body and heat you from the inside out. This process takes longer and may not always produce visible sweat, especially in the beginning. But here's the kicker. A 2012 study in the Journal of Environmental and Public Health found that sweat from infrared saunas contained more toxins, including heavy metals like mercury and cadmium, than sweat from traditional saunas or even intense exercise. Guys, that's crazy. So don't let the lack of sweat fool you. Infrared is still doing its job at a cellular level. I would argue that depends what's going on with your health. I think both are super useful and super great. Use whatever you have access to, I think is the number one recommendation here. Any type of sauna is better than no sauna at all. Your brain does have a role in sweating as well. So sweating is coordinated by the hypothalamus, a part of your brain that regulates temperature, hormones, and circadian rhythms. If your hypothalamus is dysregulated due to chronic stress, like a lot of us, sleep deprivation, or neuroinflammation, your thermoregulation can become impaired. And this is where biohacks like Redlight therapy, cold plunging, breath work can really come in. They help reset the nervous system and improve vagal tone, which indirectly supports detox mechanisms, including sweating. Let's have a quick real talk about something many of us don't think about enough: protecting our reproductive health from EMFs. EMFs, which are electromagnetic fields, are around us everywhere, from our phones to Wi-Fi, 5G towers, and even household electronics. But did you know that EMFs can impact sensitive areas of the body, including your ovaries? As women, protecting this vital part of our health is so important, especially if you are planning for your future, thinking about fertility, or maybe any other health issues or concerns you have with your ovaries. That's where Lila Quantum Tech's women's underwear comes in. This is no ordinary underwear, okay? It's infused with pure quantum energy and woven with silver fibers to block over 99% of measurable radiation, including 3G, 4G, and 5G signals. It's like giving your body and your ovaries a protective shield against harmful EMFs while staying comfortable and stylish. Lila Quantum Tech has created something truly special: durable antimicrobial underwear designed with your health and well-being in mind. Whether you prefer brief or bikini style, these are an absolute must for anyone looking to prioritize their reproductive health, which I know so many of us are. And here's the best part. You can get 2 pairs for $77 or 4 pairs for $149. And if you use my discount code BioHackingBrittany, you actually get a 10% discount on top of that bundle deal. So seriously, use it so you can save. Your health is worth it. Head to the link in my bio, on my show notes, on my website, and start to protect yourself today, starting from the inside out. Lila Quantum Tech, science meets self-care. for every single part of you. So there are some things you can actually do to stimulate sweat. You're not just left with like, oh, this might be why it's happening. There are some things we can do to like jump kick it and jump start it. So if you want to hack your sweat response, try this or one of these before your next sauna session. First up, we have dry brushing before the sauna to stimulate lymph flow. I have one of these. You do it towards the heart. So from your feet up, from your arms in, circle on your belly, figure 8 on your chest. That's typically how it goes with dry brushing. You can do castor oil packs on your abdomen the night before. You can take niacin, which is vitamin B3, and this is known as the vitamin B3 flush. You start with low doses, but always check with a practitioner. You don't want to go too high here. Essentially, it makes you flush a lot once you start sweating or go in a sauna. You can exercise and do cardio first and then jump into the sauna, which I've done. And you can hydrate like it's your job. This is what I do because I'm breastfeeding and I kind of have to. Well, I was actually kind of in that way of doing things already, but use trace minerals or high quality electrolyte formulas makes a huge difference. And lastly, you can try contrast therapy, which is between a sauna and a cold plunge or any type of cold therapy that you have access to. And this can help your body adapt faster to temperature changes. There is a little bit of a mindset shift here as well that I would like to encourage. So if you take anything away from this, let it be this. You don't have to sweat buckets to benefit from the sauna. Honestly, your body is still detoxing. It just may be doing it more quietly. The goal is consistency. So the more you show up, the more your body adapts. And sweating, just like any other detox pathway, improves with time, intention, and support. So if you're not sweating too much in the sauna right now, don't worry. You're not broken and you're not doing it wrong. Your body is just on its own timeline of healing and adaptation. So keep going, getting in the sauna, keep supporting your detox systems and stay curious. Let me know if you have any other questions about detoxing. I would love to help you out. Okay. The next question is a much more specific question and a very in-depth question. And so this woman wrote to me, she wrote quite a long paragraph, but I kind of summarized it. And she was talking about a C-section and she had a C-section. And so she said, is there a link between C-section scar defects and secondary infertility? My C-section caused an isthmocele. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I'm going to say it. So this definitely hit home for me. I had a C-section as well, and I know firsthand how little support and education we're given around healing. Honestly, it's why I kind of talk about it so publicly now, not just externally though, but like also internally. So let's unpack this properly because yes, the answer is exactly that. There is a link. It's just not talked about enough and in mainstream women's health. So first of all, what is an isthmocele? So let's start with the basics. An isthmocele, also called a niche cesarean scar defect or uterine diverticulum, is a pouch-like defect that forms in the uterine wall at the site of a prior C-section incision. It usually develops when the cesarean scar doesn't fully heal and a small pocket or indentation remains. Up to 70% of women with a previous C-section develop some form of isthmocele, but many go undiagnosed. The symptoms can be subtle or completely silent. Things like abnormal uterine bleeding, spotting between periods, pelvic pain, and yes, difficulty conceiving again. So how does this isthmocele impact fertility? So here's kind of where it gets interesting and honestly a little concerning. So first of all, there is the actual physical part of this. So the sperm and embryo blockage. That pocket of scar tissue can fill with blood, mucus, or inflammatory fluid, which blocks sperm from reaching the egg, alters the pH and microbiome of the uterus, and inhibits embryo implantation due to a disrupted endometrial lining. Your uterine environment matters just as much as your egg quality. It can also have an impact through inflammation and infection. The retained fluid in the niche can act as a reservoir for chronic inflammation, which has been linked to implantation failure and early miscarriage. In some cases, it may increase the risk of chronic endometriosis, an inflammatory condition that severely impacts fertility. A 2018 study in Reproductive Biomedicine Online found that women with isthmocele had significantly higher rates of secondary infertility, and correcting the defect improved pregnancy outcomes, which is great. I mean, the improvement part. And lastly, it can impact fertility because it can alter uterine contractility. Some studies suggest that an isthmocele may disrupt the normal contractile patterns of the uterus, impairing embryo transport and even contributing to implantation in the wrong location, like near the scar, which increases the risk for placenta acerata or previa. So why do isthmoceles happen? There's several factors that can increase this risk. So low uterine incision placement during the C-section, and that sucks because that has nothing to do with you. And that was completely on your surgeon's shoulders if that happened. I mean, actually, a lot of these are like improper suturing techniques. Same thing. That's a medical complication. That's not your fault. A retroverted uterus, which is tilted back. Typically, that's something that you're born with and you would know prior to your first pregnancy. So you would know if you had that, if you're listening to this. Multiple C-sections, and a lack of post-operative support. And we're not taught how to heal scars properly. So honestly, a lot of this is, I don't want to say out of your hands, but can be caused from medical professionals' improper practice in general. Surgical birth is still birth, and healing should go beyond just skin deep. I have a whole podcast episode on healing your C-section scar. Please listen to it. Please. There's so much you can do, even years later. Seriously, even years later. So how to diagnose an isthmocele? Unfortunately, it's often missed during standard OBGYN exams. The best tools for diagnosis are transvaginal ultrasound, preferably around day 7 to 10 of your cycle. A saline infusion sonohistography, SIS, or an MRI or hysteroscopy, for complex cases. So these are really intense tools, guys. This is like, obviously got the radiation aspect here for some of them. So really think about this decision and make sure you have a team of providers around you that can really support you in this. And make sure you're working with a provider who understands uterine scarring and infertility. Reproductive endocrinologists, fertility clinics, and integrative OBGYNs are often more aware of this condition. So what are the treatment options? Maybe you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, I have these symptoms, or yeah, I'm struggling with secondary infertility, or maybe you have been diagnosed with this and they've done an ultrasound and they've proven, or an MRI, and they have seen like, hey, there is something going on here. There is a blockage. There is a niche that we need to work on. So first of all, there is the surgical repair. And honestly, this is probably what will be recommended the fastest to you. Doesn't mean it's the right option, but it is an option. So if the isthmocele is large or significantly impacting fertility, you can do surgery, and it's often recommended. This is a minimally invasive procedure to shave down the defect and smooth the scar. A 2021 meta-analysis published in Fertility and Sterility found that This can repair improve fertility outcomes in over 80% of cases. In more severe cases, you can do robotic surgery, laparoscopic surgery. There's other options as well. If you don't want to do that and you want to try something more gentle first, I hear you. So there is functional and holistic support here. So even if you're not pursuing surgery, you can support your uterine healing through castor oil packs, which are incredible for blood flow and scar tissue. I would probably be doing them daily if this were me. Redlight therapy over the lower abdomen, again, daily. Womb massage or Mayan abdominal massage, daily. I'd probably be doing all of these daily. Pelvic floor therapy, an absolute must. So I did this during pregnancy and postpartum. I'm still doing it right now. And it can directly or indirectly affect uterine position and healing. And it's so helpful. Oh my gosh, can't speak enough about it. Did you know your cardiovascular health is at the core of your overall well-being? That's why I'm so excited to share Calroy Health Sciences with you, because they have created cutting-edge supplements that are perfect for anyone looking to optimize heart health, boost energy, and improve circulation, all backed by science and designed with your wellness in mind. There are two standout products, Arterisol HP and Vasconox HP, which work together to optimize your cardiovascular health. Arterisol HP is made with Monitum RS, which is an ingredient shown to protect and restore the glycocalyx, which is the delicate lining of your blood vessels and is essential for healthy circulation and blood flow. Then we have Vasconox HP, which supports nitric oxide levels, helping to relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and increase energy. Whether you're working out, managing stress, or just keeping up with your daily life, this duo has you covered, especially if you are a new mama like me. And here's the best part. You can save over $50 when you bundle these two together at calroy.com/Brittany. That's CALROY.com/Brittany. What's even better is you can actually order a 3-pack. And when you do that, you get a free canister of their 2-in-1 nitric oxide test strips. So you can actually take a look at your levels and see how well you're doing. How cool is that? These test strips are a complete game changer for tracking your health. They measure your nitric oxide levels for valuable insights so you can see improvements over time. And as biohackers and people who love optimal health, you know we love to test and make sure we actually see improvement in our data. So if you're ready to take control of your cardiovascular health, you can visit calroy.com/Brittany and grab this bundle now. I am so excited about this offer. That's Calroy, spelled CALROY.com/Brittany, and I highly recommend it. Your heart and your future self will thank you. Anti-inflammatory diet. So think like rich in vitamin C, collagen, and omega-3s. And then supplementation. Zinc, magnesium, and herbs like Go-To Cola are really great for this. So beyond fertility, there are long-term impacts as well. So an isthmocele isn't just about trying to get pregnant again. It's also been linked to pelvic pain and cramping, post-menstrual spotting, pain during intercourse, bladder issues and pressure, and an increased risk of uterine rupture in future pregnancies. These aren't minor things. They affect your quality of life every day. And honestly, I've had that. I've had some of these symptoms like pelvic pain, cramping, pain during intercourse for sure. And it's a lot to handle. So definitely get checked out if this is something that you think you're kind of been worried about for multiple months now or even longer. It might be worth digging into. And if a scar can be seen on the outside, imagine what it might be doing on the inside. I'm so glad this question was asked because while I'm still early in my postpartum recovery, I'm already thinking about long-term uterine health, especially as someone who wants to optimize fertility, hormonal balance, and longevity. And I've had friends who've had secondary infertility. I think it's worth potentially doing a whole podcast episode on that because there is a lot of factors that can actually go into secondary infertility. It's not just this one cause that can be associated with it. I actually had a friend who got pregnant right away with her first and then really struggled for her second and had 3 miscarriages back to back for her second, and then was going to try IVF and got everything ready, got all the hormones, whatever, and then got pregnant that month, and then it stuck. And yeah. And she said to me, she's like, I don't understand. I got pregnant right away with my first. What's interesting about her, I don't know if I can say this, but I'll say it. She talked to me, and this is a while ago, in person, and she said she had a hunch it actually had something to do with the COVID vaccine. And we talked about it, which is very interesting. So maybe there will be another episode on that. If you've had a C-section and you're experiencing unexplained secondary infertility, heavy spotting, or pelvic discomfort, please advocate for yourself. Push for proper imaging. Ask about an isthmocele. And don't let anyone tell you everything looks fine if something feels off. You know your body best. Healing after birth, especially surgical birth, is layered, emotional, and incredibly nuanced. And the more we talk about it, the more empowered women will be to take charge of their own health. If you have any questions, if you want to explore this topic more, I can look for an expert to come on the show. I only know so much from my research, but I really do think there's way more to be said about this. And if you want to be featured on an AMA episode and you want to talk about health more in depth, please message me on Instagram at BioHackingBrittany, and I would be happy to help you. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you next week for another episode on Tuesday and Friday. Thanks for tuning in to Biohacking with Brittany. If you love this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone on their own wellness journey. Stay connected with me on Instagram at BiohackingBrittany for more on high performance health, non-toxic living, and the latest in biohacking. Until next time, keep striving for your healthiest, most vibrant self.